This is the stamp set, which is just gorgeous, but I'm partial to flowers and roses especially, so this one caught my eye right away. I hope there's enough light. I also got the accompanying die set, and the die set is beautiful too. You could do the cards without dies, but they make it so much easier, especially the large flower, the large group of roses. There's a die to cut it right out. So okay, so I'm going to put this aside just so we have a little more room. And I'll keep the card out just so you have an idea what it looks like. Okay. The first thing we're going to do, of course, the base is the typical 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I just use basic white for the background because the rest of it stands out so nicely on the white. Okay, so I'm going to put the base aside because we don't really need that right now. So the first thing we want to do is emboss this piece, the top piece, this lilac color, or Highland Heather is what it is from Stampin' Up. And I'm going to use the new embossing folder. The embossing folder is beautiful. This is what it looks like. You can't see this without the paper in it, but it has some beautiful, beautiful flowers, and it's a 3D, so it really stands out. So I've already embossed it, but I wanted to show you how I did it. So I took the Highland Heather, and the first thing you do is you cut your two pieces because there's two different pieces on here. There's an embossed piece. So we put them together, and it's important that you put them together. And I think it's also better to put the embossing underneath when you cut it. After you emboss this piece, now you're going to put them together, and you're going to cut them down to the size that you need for the front of the card. So that would be 4 by 5 1/4. So let me do that. So once you cut them down to size 4 by 5 1/4, you do your angle cut. And now they will fit on the front just right. Okay. All right. So that's done. We can glue them to the base. And I use liquid glue, especially on the 3D embossing folder section because it's so textured. You want to make sure it really sticks down. And you might want to set them together on there just to make sure you're gluing them with you're going to have a little border on the edge. So and you're going to butt them right together at the edges, so there's no space. And you have a tiny little 1/8 of an inch border on them. Okay. Okay. The next thing you do is you stamp and cut out your roses. And the stamp set is, to get my big stamp thing. There we go. I stamped these in Highland Heather. And the easiest way to so we're going to stamp the flowers. And it's easier to, in a big stamp like this, to put the stamp on the stamp pad. I mean, on the stamp holder, and then use your ink on top of it like that. That way you can see where the ink's going. Make sure it all gets where you want it to be. All right, I'm going to close this up. And I'm going to stamp this on a piece of white, which I didn't bring out. So I need a scrap of white. Press it good all around because it is a big stamp. And give it a couple seconds to adhere. There we go. Came out beautiful. Okay, now we're going to cut it with the die. The die is wonderful because it just encompasses the whole group. And I always tape my dies down before I run them through the machine so that they don't skip, jump, and then mess up your cut. Okay, I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so once they're cut, once it's cut out, so now we can adhere that to the front of the card. And I'm using dimensionals because I like to raise it up, give it a little more interest of the textures. And this is a big stamp, so don't skimp on the dimensionals. You don't want it falling off. All right. Whoops. Okay, let me get these off. They come off pretty good. They're the Stampin' Up's dimensionals are very high quality. I've bought some in other places, but they're not as nice as Stampin' Up's, I have to say. So now we're going to put this pretty much in the middle. Okay, want it to overlap both sections. Okay. All right, and then we're going to take the Sprigs dies, and those are in the set also. And the ones I used for this one is this one. And this is just a little trick I like to show people. Not really a trick, it's a handy thing to do. When you get your set, if you don't have magnetic plates to put them on and you want to keep them on the original, draw around the pieces so that when you take them off, and if you've taken off several, you can figure out where they go back on and fit on the card. Okay, so this is the one I used, and I've already cut these out, so you don't have to watch me cutting those. And I cut them in white because I thought it was nice. It doesn't take away from the roses too much. Okay, so we're just going to slide them underneath like that. And I'm just going to put them, maybe I use, see, I think I'll use the sticky dots, because they're easy to slide in. Okay, so I'm going to put one on the bottom. I'm also going to dab some of the leaves with glue because it's very delicate, and they could get caught, like if they were pulling it in and out of an envelope. Okay, so we'll do that. My tweezers here. And I put one up at the top and one down on this end. And let me get the sticky dot again for the bottom. Underneath. There. Okay. There. Now on the inside, and I'm going to embellish the top too with a few pearls, but let's do the inside for now. So the inside, I open it up, and when you cut off your embellished, embossed piece, you're going to have a leftover piece if you cut it off of like a 6x6, and you can put it at the bottom or the side. Yeah, I think I'll put it at the side this time. So I need to cut this one. It's a little bit too long, but I like it. The embossing is so pretty. This one we need to use the liquid glue once again because this is textured, okay? And it's safer to keep it down good. Use your tweezers so you don't get glue all over your fingers. All right, there we go. Isn't that pretty? I love that. Okay, so for the front, I took the pearls, the purple pastel pearls, which I thought were beautiful, and they have kind of an orchid colored one. So I put those on. And I love putting them in the middle of flowers, like where the stamens would go. There. All right, and next, well, last thing, we need to put the sentiment on. I've already stamped it to save some time, but that piece is 3 1/4 by 3/8, and I want to show you how to flag the ends because it's so easy and it looks pretty. So you cut straight in from the edge, and then from each corner you go into that cut. Quick, see that? Easy. And sometimes people just flag one end and tuck the other one underneath, but this one's going to go right at the bottom. So I put this on dimensionals also, but I used the small ones because it's a very thin. There we go. Put this right at the bottom, like that. There we go. So I wanted to show you 2 other cards that I made using the stamp set. So this one I used the quatrefoil embossing folder, which made a really pretty background. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of hard to see but anything with a pretty texture makes a nice background. And I used red, and I also colored these in with watercolor markers, which just gives it a soft effect. Okay. I also put a ribbon, pretty ribbon. That's a Stampin' Up! Ribbon. And then this one is a larger one. It's a 5x7. I used the manila colored background for the background, and then I took a purple foil for a liner piece, and then I also used vellum. Took a vellum piece and I used one of my decorative dies for that, and then the flowers on top and the sprigs on the sides. And I didn't put the sentiment on the front. What I did was I made it a Mother's Day card and I put it inside because it kind of takes the whole front. Okay. So if you have any questions, and I'm going to be putting this up with all the cutting directions on the web for you so you can look it up. But if you have any questions, or especially if you were interested in maybe joining Stampin' Up! And having your own discounts, I can help you with that. And if you do decide to go to Stampin' Up! And place an order, please use my post code, because that will give me a chance to meet you, and I can send you an extra little gift also, and I will be your host to help you with any questions you have. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.